The future is female. Absolutely. I like my t-shirt. So this is a video about my own personal birth story, doula birth plan, and just a small video on my birthing experience in general. Like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ashe Non Affirmations, and comment below with your own personal birth story. I'd love to hear your perspective and how things went for you and your story. Okay, so my birth plan did not go as planned, as a lot of births doesn't go. So one important thing that I definitely want to mention is that I began my journey on holistic health and healing and holistic eating about a year before I even knew that I was going to be pregnant. Before I even met my boyfriend, before even thinking about having kids or whatever, I was already following the Dr. Sebi nutritional food guide and the herbs list. This was about a year to the date before I gave birth. So I found Dr. Sebi's food and herb list October 26, 2019, and I actually gave birth to my daughter October 26, 2020. So I just feel subconsciously my body was just already kind of trying to get itself prepared to create, house, and deliver my baby without me consciously knowing. Not sure, but that's how that went. Right off the gate, I knew that we needed to hire a doula and or a midwife all at the same time, because all of my family is in Memphis, Tennessee. All of my boyfriend's family is in New York. And we don't really have any immediate support here. We don't have grandmothers, aunts, siblings, cousins. So it's just us. And then it was in the middle of the pandemic. So we found out we were pregnant February or March of 2020, like exactly when everything kind of popped off. So I immediately knew that I did not necessarily want to go to the hospital, and I definitely knew I needed another woman with me to advocate for me and to just be by my side during that time, along with my boyfriend. So pregnancy was good. I had no complaints my entire pregnancy. I didn't have any morning sickness. I didn't really have any pain. I continued my plant-based lifestyle and eating up until like 6 or 7 months pregnant. And then the rest of that time, I just kind of ate what I wanted to. I usually do the 80-20 rule. So, 80% of the time, fruits and veggies, eating healthy. The 20% during the last few months of my pregnancy is when I just kind of, indulged in some cravings that I was having. So that's how pregnancy went. Pregnancy was very smooth. I had no complaints my entire pregnancy. When it came to labor and delivery, I initially wanted to go to a birth center in Greensboro, North Carolina. Had signed my contract, paid my deposit and everything, but they wound up closing due to the pandemic. So then I was looking for the next nearest birthing center, and that was in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So that's where we went, because I definitely wanted to have a natural water birth. That was the plan anyway. And so I labored most of the time in the water, which it helped a little bit. But another important thing when it comes to hiring a doula, just like, your doulas interview you to ask questions and what your lifestyle is like, make sure you interview your doula thoroughly as well. I just kind of chose the first doula that popped up, and it wasn't the best fit. Make sure you choose a doula that fits you and your lifestyle, and that the doula and that you fit your doula's lifestyle. Some doulas are very hands-on and physical and all up in there with you, and that's what I needed. I felt like I could have delivered naturally if I had that hands-on interaction. But my doula was very hands-off. And sometimes that's okay too. Some clients, require hands-off, especially if the partner's, there with you or other family members are in the room or whatever. But my doula was very hands-off. And I just felt like I needed very much hands-on. And I was starving throughout my entire labor process. And was not being fed, so I just wasn't happy about that. And my doula also was not there when I gave birth. I was in labor for 36 hours, and she left early. She missed the birth and all of that. She did visit me for postpartum, but I definitely needed hands-on interaction during labor, and I definitely wanted her by my side when I delivered, and neither of those things happened. So that was just my experience, but that is not everyone else's experience. I just wanted to, give insight on mine. When it came to laboring, I definitely felt that the water suited me best. A lot of the hospitals at the time were not allowing water births or laboring in the water due to COVID. But I knew right away that's what I wanted. I initially kind of wanted to do a home birth. That didn't go how I wanted it to. So we wound up, laboring and trying to do it at a birth center. After about 4 or 5 centimeters of laboring in the water, getting out the water, walking around, bouncing on my birthing ball, dilating on the toilet because that is a very good dilation station. I just could not take it anymore, and I was just getting very exhausted. So I wound up being transported to UNC Chapel Hill Hospital, and for it to be in the middle of a pandemic and for me not wanting to initially go to a hospital, UNC Chapel Hill Hospital was like chef's kiss. It was like top tier of all the hospitals. I had a really good experience with them, and I really loved the way that they took care of me there, even though, I'm a big advocate for home births, homeschooling, home everything at this point. So after delivery, came home, and then everything was fine. So I'm just a really big advocate when it comes. Okay, sorry guys. Yeah, so I'm just a very big advocate for knowing what type of birth you want to have, doing your best, trying to go for that. And it's okay. If you deviate from your birth plan, that is okay. I'm only going to state what I had in my birth plan and what I recommend to my doula clients. You have to do what's best for you and your family and what you're feeling and what your spirit tells you to do. So when I have doula clients, I ask them, hey, what type of birth do you want to have? And I take notes and write things down, and they let me know. Now, when it comes to other clients, they tell me, I have no idea, what do you recommend? So this is what I recommend. This is my birth plan that I went with. This is my birth plan that I recommend to my doula clients. Again, do as you feel fit. This is just me and mine, right? So on the birth plan, number 1, no bright lights. You want your lights to be dimmed. You want the ambiance to be very serene and relaxed, during the labor and delivery process, right? I definitely tried my best not to get an epidural, but I wound up getting one after, 36 hours of labor. I was exhausted, I was hungry, and just an array of other things. So I wound up giving in at the end and getting an epidural, even though that was not my initial plan. Also, my initial plan was not to get Pitocin because that is known to slow down baby's heart rate. And then when that happens, you're putting yourself at risk for getting threatened with a C-section as far as hospital settings are concerned. So I wanted to try to avoid these things at all costs, but plans go in different directions all the time. What I also did, according to my birth plan, is I definitely breastfed as much as I could. When I felt like she was not getting enough, I definitely went towards donor milk. That is also an option. But breast is best. The more that baby latches on, the more milk you will produce. And don't worry, you're being only a few hours or a couple days, even a week after birth, and you're feeling like you're not producing enough milk. The colostrum, which is the liquid gold, baby's stomach is about like that size, like very, very tiny when first born. So the colostrum, the little bit of colostrum that you produce or squeeze out of your nipples, is the right amount of food that your baby needs the first few hours after birth. And within that week, or even sooner, your milk will start flowing properly. Just keep baby attached as much as possible, having that contact with the saliva to your nipple, and you will flow with breast milk, right? I chose, and I always recommend, no eye ointment. Usually it is for mothers who have an STD such as gonorrhea or chlamydia. So if you've had testing done and you are negative for those things, in my opinion, it's not really necessary to have eye ointment on baby. It just irritates them. So that's what I did. Delayed cord clamping was super important to me, even though all of my birth plan did not go like I wanted to. Most of it did, and delayed cord clamping went according to plan as well. So you want to cut baby's cord after all the blood has been drained from the placenta to baby. So once the cord has stopped pulsating, and it has went white, or you don't see any more blood flowing, that's when you want to cut it. You don't want to immediately cut the cord, because you're depriving baby from the rest of the blood, the oxygen, and the nutrients that is coming to it from the placenta at that point. And a lot of oxygen comes through the umbilical cord as well. So you want to delay cord clamping by at least 1 hour. That's what I did before clamping the cord. What I also did is the vernix, which is the white cheese-like coating that is on baby after delivery. I did not have them scrub it off and give her a bath immediately. What I did was I rubbed it in to her skin, and I had her dad rub it into her skin. I had the rest of the nurses, if they tried to come and do testing or whatever, to rub that in. You want to rub that in. That vernix is a protective coating on the baby's skin. It protects the baby from bacteria and things of that nature. So what I did is I took a cloth and I just gently rubbed all of the vernix into her skin. And then when we got home, I gave her a bath at that point, which was probably like a day or two later. All procedures were done in the room with me. I did not allow them to take her anywhere immediately after delivery. Immediately after delivery, they laid her on my chest and we initiated breastfeeding immediately. The hearing test, the measurements, the weight, and all of those things were done in the room with me after delivery, after we initiated breastfeeding, and after delayed cord clamping and all of that. So just a summary of how my birth plan went and how I recommend to some of my doula clients, again, is dim lighting. You can use some battery power. You can use the battery powered candles for the dim lighting. If you don't have to, don't let them cut you down there, or C-section if you can help it. Do everything in your power to eat correctly, during your pregnancy, and to drink enough water. Make sure, again, you're drinking at least a gallon of spring water to stay hydrated and to keep enough amniotic fluid surrounding your baby. Just make sure you're doing everything in your power and in your goodwill to, be able to have a low risk and healthy pregnancy, labor, and delivery. Again, immediate skin to skin after delivery. Immediately initiate breastfeeding. Again, with the eye ointment, I did not have eye ointment, and again, it's not necessary if it does not have to be. So this is just I have a very thorough and detailed birth plan that I'm not going to go all the way into tonight, but that's the gist of it. Again, happy World Doula Week to the doulas that I personally know. Whitley, I see you, girl. Keep doing your thing. Ebony, I see you. You're doing such great work out in Durham. To the doulas that I don't personally know, but I see y'all on social media. Crystal Harris, she is a huge inspiration to women all across the world. She is the reason why I'm getting more into herbs now and getting out of my comfort zone to show up more and show my face a little bit more. And so again, all the other doulas that are out there doing your thing, keep advocating, keep supporting these mothers and their families. To book any of my doula services, go to ashenin.com. That's ASENINE.com. And that's about all I have. Make sure you all comment your birth story below or your perspectives. I would love to hear them and chat with y'all about it. So until next time.